Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining again. Really appreciate it. We're carrying on with that theme for the HIK Pro Connect. I'm going to try and make it a bit easier and more simpler. We are going to have an overlook regarding the rest of the things, some new features. And we're going to maybe go a little bit over the stuff from yesterday, but it's an entire theme that we're going over. And while we're at that point, I'll also afterwards discuss a little bit regarding the different programs and apps for Hikvision, but that's after the recording. So stay tuned for the Q&A. So a little bit of additional information there. Right. So I do, however, have this PowerPoint that I received from HQ. So there is the lady that is involved with this project. She did put up a little bit of recording so we can help to go through the material. So you are going to hear a voice. After that, I'll quickly go through it. Some of them I might be skipping because they might not apply to us, or we have gone through it. So we'll go through all that. So good stuff. Let's go for it, man. So hopefully you can get your questions answered for the HIK Pro Connect. So yeah, let's go for it. All right, where is my little, come on, let's work, PPT. Oh, it's jumping all over the show. Okay, let's try and redo that again. Let's stop that. There we go. Let's see if it's gonna. Okay, so the overall inspection. And why is mine taking forever to load? All right. Okay, so we're gonna go through those few parts, which we'll start now. Right, so the first one is going to be on the device management. So under that section, we're going to go through that a little bit. Right. Whoops. It's just jumping the gun. All right. Let's just quickly go back. So it looks like I'm going to have to pause it every time. So let's hope that this will work. Right. So just to go through that guide itself. So we have discussed this yesterday. So it's easy and accessible for any installer to be able to remotely have access to their clients' devices if you have been granted permission. So you have to apply that and ask your client if he can grant you permission so that you can maybe do certain changes on his network for his cameras or access control or whatever the case might be. So this gives you a quick and easy setup itself. So especially once you go out to site, you don't have to use the client's mobile phone for the HIK Connect app and then basically go around and load all the stuff on his mobile phone. You do it on your device and you send it through to the client. If you need to make any changes, you can ask permission to do that. All right. So okay, so it's jumping the gun again. All right, so regarding that, basically very simple. We've gone through that yesterday as well. So it allows you to remotely schedule certain times and certain things on your devices through the Pro Connect app itself. So it allows you to do certain applications for that. Not just that, you can also do certain configurations. So under that configurations, you can maybe change the name of the camera for that environment. So maybe that environment has now changed. It's no longer the Braai area. It's now just the the back courtyard or something. Then you can change the name on the camera so it makes it a bit easier. You can also change the way the viewing is. So a lot of the installation, like I mentioned yesterday, you look at a specific area during the day, you install the camera, and maybe a week or two thereafter, you didn't realize early in the morning when the sun comes up, it shoots right into the building and you can't see anything. So it overexposure. So you need to maybe enable wide dynamic range. So then you can set that up on that remote configuration. All right. Yeah, so there's supposed to be sound on it. My apologies. All right. Okay. So moving on. So the next one. All right. Oh, no. Okay. So let's go back with one. Okay. So there's definitely something that I needed to change on this PowerPoint, but any case. So just to quickly focus on that point, which is a very nice point. There might be certain devices that need to be rebooted on a scheduled time. So it's not just on the NVR side, or it's not just on the product side, but it can also be under the HIK Pro Connect itself. So this allows you to reboot or restart that device for whatever specific reason you might need it for. Certain clients do need these applications and they do provide this as well. So you can put that scheduling time on that. So you can basically reset that device or reboot it whenever you need to reboot it. Right. So going through the next one. Okay, so it's jumping again. So let's try and get to it. There we go. All right, so the same with the remote configuration. Yesterday we have discussed this, which is a very nice feature. I think a lot of you might see the potential now a little bit more in the Pro Connect. So the Pro Connect is a single program for any installing company. And in the future, things will even get better. But now, instead of you going to buy certain programs and etc., you can make your life a little bit easier as an installer. You can have the Pro Connect and you have a single program that you can use for multiple different purposes instead of just paying all these small little programs, etc. So from basically setting up the client system on your phone without having to use his device, and now you're looking at the client's phone and you basically adding his cameras, or you're adding the alarm system, and all of a sudden he gets a WhatsApp from his wife yelling at him, "I saw you looking at that lady, I saw you." Then you get in trouble because now you're seeing what the client is supposed to see, and it's a little bit awkward. So by doing this, you have the Pro Connect app. On the Pro Connect app, you can basically add all the devices and then send it to the client's phone. So not just that, you can do multiple different things. So we see now you can put scheduling times. You can basically change certain settings on the camera or the devices. You can even now reset the devices remotely. So you have that option for remote reset, for that's offsite. And if you're in the network, on-site. So we have touched this a little bit yesterday. Please have a look. And yes, I know there's some of the videos that's a little bit behind. We did see that the server haven't uploaded it all. So we are in that process today to get that resolved. But the nice feature is if you do it remotely, it will give you that configuration for 24 hours to be able to reset that password of that specific device. Unfortunately, the Pro Connect is not part of that package. Majority of all the other devices are on that, but not the Pro Connect. You physically have to be on the alarm panel because it's a security alarm system. So you need to physically be there. You can't do it remotely or even on site yet, or you're on site, but physically you can't do it through the app. All right. Anyway, so nice feature. You can reset the password. It will send it through to the client. The client can reset the password, and then now the password is changed. When you are on site and you're in the same network, it's immediate, it's very quick, very easy. Reset the password, goes to it. So you don't have to send an email to Hikvision or to your supplier and saying, listen, here's my device, there's the picture of the device, please reset the password, the client has forgotten what the password is. This allows you because the client has under your account. So you have as an installer that grant of that permission to look after his products. Okay. And again, you can't just go and change the password. He is going to get notified and it's going to go to his HIK-Connect account. And then on that account, it will ask him to change the password. So you still don't have any control over the system. All right. You're just helping providing a service. Okay. Sorry, let me just quickly get that because I keep on seeing it in the programming. Is it going to move to another slide? No, it's not. Okay, remote upgrade. So the nice thing about the Pro Connect is you can do remote upgrading of those devices itself. Again, please make sure that the network is stable and make sure that you've checked, we do live in South Africa, make sure that you check that there's no load shedding schedule or whatever the case might be, because you don't want any interruptions while you are updating these devices, because halfway through the update, it can go faulty and then it needs to be repaired, and it's a very costly thing and it's a very long process where you need to flash everything off the device, reload the device, then go through the testing purposes, then update the firmware, then packages, and then send it back, and it takes a very long time. So no, don't do it. Okay, make sure that you do it when everything is stable. Make sure that you do it in a stable environment. All right. Okay, so while that is, we've gone through that a little bit. Let me just quickly see here. I've got another thingy. 1 second. Okay. All right. So moving on, we're sure we have that understanding. We're going to skip that one. Okay. So if you guys are using smart switches, again, being proactive regarding your business, you can manage and you can see what is happening with those networks. You can maybe move certain things to different devices. You can maybe allocate more resource to one port compared to another one. There's so much more that you can do. But the nice thing is, again, from your laptop or your mobile phone, you have control over the network and you can basically provide a decent service about this. The nice thing is also it will notify you as an installer that there's a network issue, there's a network problem, there's a health issue on the network, and you can inform your client, even through the HIK-Connect app, saying that, good day, sir, I see there's a problem on camera for the back kitchen area. Would you like me to create a job card, etc., etc.? And I've got some additional things for that whole subject that we're going to show just now, also very soon. All right. So under the network itself, right, so that's the layout and how it's going to basically look like. We have touched this yesterday, just to quickly tell you. So you can see the main connection. You can see all the different switches that you have and all the different devices that you have on those switches, which is a very nice feature. The same goes for the mobile. You can zoom in and there's multiple. So you have quite a vast amount of lines that you can go through regarding that network. It actually gets really big. We had a little bit of a session yesterday, but unfortunately I was pulled away from that session. I wanted to go a little bit more and see how far we can push the limits of this. But hopefully when I get time, I'll go through that and I can share that information. But the nice thing is, for any business, for networking, it makes it easier. So you'll get that notification to say that there's a camera down. You create the job card with the client, being proactive, giving a good service, having a single app do everything for you. It just makes so much more sense. All right. Come on. There we go. Right. So that's the example. So we've gone through that. The same goes for the network itself. It will indicate to you which ports are used, which ones are not. If you can't get to the site and the client says, listen, myself and the kids were watching a movie, the network went out, what's going on, then you can tell him, all right, sir, I see the issue, maybe just change the port to a different port. If it goes red again, then you know there's actually something wrong with that device. So there's multiple different ways. So as you can see, there's an alarm, there's a conflict on it, or there's an issue with it. If it's normal, it's great. If it's great, there's no connection, there's no communication itself. It will also show you what the bandwidth is. If there's certain cameras, and this happens a lot, and please, I did mention this yesterday as well. If you do installation and you set up everything perfect, there was no people there, all 16 cameras are up, great, no problems. Now, all of a sudden, the client's got an event and there is thousands of people, thousands, and they're all moving around. It's going to create more bandwidth. So now, all of a sudden, all the cameras are using more bandwidth. And now they're going to phone you, say, okay, listen, the security says they can't see the back camera and the front camera. It keeps on going on and off, and it's slow. And it's because of reasons like that, because you didn't plan, maybe we didn't look at it, or maybe didn't think about this. But the nice thing is the devices can let you know. So now you can go remotely from your phone. Oh, sorry, sir, let me quickly have a look. You quickly go onto your phone and you go and maybe drop the bandwidth itself on certain devices, and everything will be more stable. All right, nice, awesome. All right, next up, she's going to mention it. Let's mention it. Right, so as she mentioned, there's multiple different tools. If you are an installer, because again, the HIK Pro Connect is mostly focused on the installing companies. This helps them. For the management, I've got something for you down the line. We'll discuss that just now. But we are trying to focus a bit more on the installing side of things, making their business as an installer or company even more productive. Right. So you have so many different configurations through it. You can update firmware. You can even look and scan for certain firmware. So the nice thing is you put the product model in for that serial number for that product, and you can see what is the latest firmware available. There's different calculators for NVRs to see what the bandwidth would be. So you have a specific model of NVR, and you say that, okay, this NVR is a 32 channel NVR. Now the next step is, okay, we've got 30 cameras, and all 30 cameras are 4 megapixels. What is the resolution going to be? And not just that, what is the hard drive space going to be? What is the bandwidth going to be? So all these little apps, little programs for tools is perfect for any installer to calculate everything. So you know, okay, you know what? We need to make sure that we have 12 terabytes in order to give you the recording that you require for the amount of cameras and the resolutions and the megapixels. This is just smart business. Like, the tools are there. It makes life easy, right? So the next one is on the health monitoring. So under the health monitoring, very basic. Again, we've gone through it. If there's a fault, if you need to check something, the health monitoring will give you all that information, alerting you, sending you notifications of different devices that you have under your, your account. All right. Right, so that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier for the guys as an installing company. When you're creating job cards and stuff like that, now you can create also quotations. So the nice thing is you have that capability as a single tool for your mobile. So you don't have to go and pay for, no offense to any companies, but you don't have to go and pay for Passel. You don't have to go and pay for QuickBooks. You don't have to go pay for, whatever the program is that you are using. As an invoice program, it makes life easier. So from there, you send everything out, load the client's information, and it's done. Everything on the same app, the same program. So for any security surveillance company or security company that's using Hikvision products mostly, it's a perfect tool. So it allows you then to basically generate all that information on a single platform. All right, let's move on. Okay, so next up. Okay, so just to recap on that, again, nice feature, different options. You can customize your own as well. So again, for that health monitoring, when it comes to certain things or something goes wrong on the devices or network, it's quick. You see that the back camera from this client, Mr. So-and-so at Hillside, 7 alarm, because I saw that, that was funny. Anyway, I don't know it, but anyway, don't. I'm no soapies for me, but anyway. So very funny feature. It's at house number 10 as an example, and you saw that the back kitchen camera is no longer communicating and it's not working. You have on your mobile phone, quick to try and reset it. It doesn't want to reboot up. So you've tried to reboot it. Now you can go and say, dear Mr. So-and-so, here's a quotation. If you would like us to come out to have a look, this is how much it's going to cost, etc., etc. So quick, easy, straightforward, and there's a lot more in the future that's coming regarding this. All right. This is how the quotation would look like. Right. Let's go back to that one. So very nice little feature. Obviously, your own customization, your own logo that's inside the system itself to advertise your business, your company. So once the client receives it on his mobile phone, it will have your logo, have all the information, whatever your charges were and why they were there. And yeah, just all around, just bonus. Okay. So co-partnership, and for this whole setup itself, it just makes so much more sense. So we want to basically try and help all our installers, all the companies, the SIs that are using the products, that actually installing, the small companies, to be more flexible, to give a more professional service by having a single program doing majority of the work for you. All right. The big boss. Okay, let me just quickly showcase that a bit again. Okay, there we go. All right, so very straightforward. No, I'm talking. Wait now. Okay. All right. So we're just going to pause it there quickly for a second. So very straightforward. You have your admin person, the main person that's in charge of the account of that Pro Connect itself as the company owner. Then you can have maybe your CCTV installer as a manager. From there on, you have maybe your alarm installer on the other side. So you can basically give them certain tasks to do. You can say to them, please go as this one, you need to go to client A and you need to also go to client B. You give him work to do. So you can say, please go to Mrs. C and please go to Mrs. Z. So you can basically provide that kind of service for your own staff to direct them where they need to go. Once they receive at the site, or maybe they go to, instead of now B, your camera CCTV installer gets a phone call. He's right around the corner and you're busy on a phone call or a meeting. He goes to client E or owner site E itself. Then he can go and ask you as an admin for the account permission over that client to say, listen, please open up for me to be able to work on the system so I can see the network. So the manager will be able to see that. He will go and ask the client permission on Mr. E, and then it will grant him permission so he can see that. So very flexible, very easy, very straightforward, and a nice little feature. We have gone through this itself in the past. So there are videos on our YouTube channel itself, and under that YouTube channel you'll find for the HIK Pro Connect itself, the entire series. We had one of our good friends and colleagues here that has unfortunately left due to his own personal reasons, but Robin, he's gone through all that little videos, so you can definitely check that up. Very awesome to see all that information. Moving on. Okay, so under the operation logs itself, very nice feature as well. So for any person that would like to see this, this keeps quite a lefty little history for that person. So you can basically go to CC, or you can, I can't see the name there, hold on. Okay, I'm not going to try at all to pronounce the name of that person at all. I'm not doing that. Okay, but in any case, so you can see the installer, then you can basically see all the other information, who the client is. You can see when they've accepted it, if they have accepted it, what the time, what the date was, which is a very nice feature. So as a log to see what your staff has done, you can do that. Makes life so much easier. And again, you can export that information to an Excel sheet, or maybe to a PDF, or whatever the case which you would like to, right? Up to 90 days that it can store. Right. Next up. Okay, so this is a feature that we also have that's inside the cloud system for that kind of premises as a HIK Pro Connect service. So as a support, your client can also communicate to you, or you can maybe share that information to another technical support person that's on your group itself or in your category. So sometimes you'll send a technician out. He might be just a normal installer. He doesn't know how to set up something. He can quickly go and take that information, send it through to another person. And there's multiple ways that he can send that through. And then that person is maybe the technical manager. And the technical manager can say, no, Jimmy, I told you before, you need to make sure that you add that before you say yes or carry on, whatever the case might be. Nice little feature. Right. Co-branding itself, another little feature. A lot of you might be familiar with it. Very easy, very straightforward. You put up your logo onto your account. Under your account, you put your information. Once the client downloads the HIK Connect app and he installs it through you, then it will show your logo itself on that. Right. I'm not going to go too far down that. We don't want to spend too much time. Right. Co-branding, straightforward. Right, so it's all over the show, so it makes life easier. Please note also that if your client has certain devices and he doesn't want, he's maybe sharing part of it to a monitoring company and the other part to an actual installing company, but he's not using the installing company from the monitoring company. That makes sense? Then what will happen is if he's sharing to both at the same time, it will not show the co-branding of either one of the two companies on the client's phone. All right, only one co-branding per sharing. All right, because sometimes it might be technical. So if you have an arm response company that's actually monitoring the alarm system, but you have another company that does the installation and the repairs, but the company that does the monitoring also does installation and repairs. So this way you won't see any of the logos. And my video is very laggy. Is it? Is this a little bit slow? It is a little bit slow. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Okay, make sure that it's got the update version of the HPC. That's HIK Pro Connect itself, update version. And if you do register now with the health monitoring, the package, or whatever the case is, you get the co-banding for free for a year. So keep that in mind. Right. Next up on that, very straightforward under the cloud. So we do have the cloud boxes itself for the Pro Connect. Those cloud boxes allows us to basically send it straight to the cloud and store all that information. This is very important for any installing company. If your client might be at risk, if someone might be able to damage, or if you feel that somebody could damage the equipment, you would like to store it not on the hard drive, but straight to the Pro Connect cloud. You can go and have it for a certain amount. So let's say 8 cameras for, let's say 7 days. You can drop the resolution. You pay a small little fee and it will upload the whole time. And just like a normal hard drive, just overwrite that itself. So if the event, something does happen, the client phones you, listen, we just had an armed robbery. They ripped out the NVR or the whatever the case might be, and they ran with it or they broke it. So now there's no footage anymore. So this way you still have the footage. All right, makes it a bit easier, and we have gone through that as well. So again, for that, we've obviously released it very early in this year, or in the middle of the year. Very nice little feature. So please have a look at that. You can have that motion detection, line crossing, intrusion detection. So you can set it up. You can have other device, or you can have the camera stand alone and pull into it. And like I mentioned, you have different packages that you can go for. Moving on. Okay, time and attendance. Time and attendance is very easy. I'm not going to go through all the little features. We have gone through the time and attendance. So the nice thing is HR or the boss can basically set up certain times and schedules for certain staff members. Once they get to the office and they read their face or their finger or their card, it will take it to the access control system, straight to the cloud, and then they can manage that time and attendance. You can also do it through GPS clock in. Please take note of that, especially on the sales side of things. If you have maybe staff that's mostly out and about, especially if it is an installing company, you can basically assign from the HR to give certain job cards, if I can put it that way, assignments. So you can say that, listen, your staff needs to be at that premises, and then they need to log in with the GPS. It will calibrate it, set it in, set up, done, sorted. The person that needs to do the repairs is on site, and it will send it through to HR. So when they pull the report to see what your working hours were, you have that capability. Again, single tool for majority of all the work. Okay, moving on. So very basic when it comes to that, upload that information, put through the access control. If there is maybe times that they need to work or shifts that they need to work, all that information is there. Right. We have gone through this. We're not going to go too far down that. Very straightforward, single system that have all that capability for you. Right, for the time and attendance, again, whoops, is it not going to, okay. So under that time and attendance, we can change the time schedule when they check in, check out, etc. Okay. Okay, so she's not going to briefly introduce, I'm going to do that. Right, I'm going to make it very simple. So let me see, can I do this? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me do this. Okay, but before I get to show you, so under the time and attendance for that relationship under the Pro Connect, the Pro Connect, it was designed for the installing an installer company. But then we started realizing that, okay, it makes it a little bit difficult for the HR and the managers and stuff like that. So we basically then have now the HIK Central Connect itself. So this allows it more to be towards the manager itself. So they can basically then guide more. So in the future, This app will be for the management, and that will be only for the actual physical installers, the guys that actually taking the cable, taking the device, plugging it in, you know, that kind of thing. So we're trying to focus more on that to separate it a bit more. And then obviously you have the HIK Connect app that's more for the end user. So there's quite a bit that's going to be changing. So we're not going to really focus too much further on the time and attendance under the Pro Connect. That's more focused now on the HIK Central Connect itself. So I'm going to try and put my slide in. Let me just try and find it quickly. Can I do that? Let's see. I can make that a bit smaller, and then I can try and put this page in. Is it going to show? It is. Ha! Look at that. I'm a genius. Okay, right. So all of you might be familiar with the following. I'm not ready to showcase this, but I thought, let me just quickly tell you guys. Okay, so HIK Connect itself is for the end user. So the end user can use HIK Connect itself, right? So that allows them to basically view their camera, switch on, etc., etc. Then we have the Pro Connect. The Pro Connect is mostly designed for the installer, the guy that needs to add the devices and send it to the HIK Connect itself. He can also then thereafter send the information to the HIK Central Connect itself or to the HIK Central Professional. IVMS is designed for internal network as well as the access control one. So basically, if you want to monitor certain devices or cameras or whatever through the network remotely, and it's not in the same network, then you need to use HIK Central. So it's a license. Yes, you have to pay for this license for this program. You have to pay per channel, etc. If you're not sure, please speak to your supplier that supplies your Hikvision products, and they will be able to explain it a bit more to you or what the prices are. IVMS is when you have a secured building, like a warehouse, and that warehouse has maybe 64 cameras or maybe 160 cameras, and they want to monitor it a little bit more. They want to have all the little features, but they're not allowed to have that information or the footage outside their network. Then you're going to be using IVMS. People have used IVMS for their monitoring companies. Yes, it's free, but the program wasn't designed for that. The program was designed for internal network, for support, for creating certain things, for setting up certain devices, configuring, programming, etc., etc. So it wasn't really designed for control room use itself. Right, that's why we have HIK Central. HIK Central has been there for very long, but obviously people have used it. Now, there was a plug-in tool from the HIK Connect account to be able to use it on IVMS. So basically, when you load your cameras or your devices on to say that, listen, I'm going to add this NVR, it will ask you, do you want a static IP address? Do you want whatever the case is, domain name, you know, ISAP, or whatever the case is? People will go, we're going to use HIK Connect, put HIK Connect on there. Great. You can still do that. It will give you the capability to view the cameras because it's trying to pull it through the actual video image. But the tool that we had in the past to be able to add that for the push notifications for the alarm. So now the client's got an AccuSense camera. The AccuSense camera picks up an intruder. It triggers it through the HIK Connect app. It goes to the IVMS, and IVMS will not let you know. That tool has been removed. Okay. It will only go through to HIK Central or notify whatever that specific to Pro Connect and HIK Central Connect itself. Okay. I hope that makes a bit more clear information regarding that. Okay. Let me just minimize here. Where is my PPT that I'm busy with? Let's see. There we go. All right. So I hope that makes it a bit understanding. So in future, the main bosses and the main company or the main master of that platform will use the HIK Connect, HIK Central Connect itself, and then the installers, the guys that do the actual work, the staff members and stuff like that will use the Pro Connect, and the clients will still carry on using the HIK Connect app. Okay. So if you got any questions, we can ask afterwards. Right. So let's go through that. Okay. Okay. So she's going to gibber off there. I'm going to quickly jump in there because we're running out of time and I don't want to carry on too far. Right. So regarding that itself, the nice little feature about that is you can go and explore. The explore gives you the capability of looking at new videos, new materials, new information, etc., etc. So it's like an advertising platform where it's only and everything about Hikvision. All right. So that gives you the capability of getting all the new information. Okay. In this section, all right, there's the button at the bottom. So the nice thing is it's any new features, any new videos, new materials, new stuff, whatever the case might be, will be in there. Not just that, it will also allow you, wait, hold on. There we go. It will also allow you to go through that certain materials itself, certain products. So it will tell you that this is the new product. Here's the PDF for that. So on that spreadsheet, what the item is, what the megapixel is, how it would look like, what's the size, all that information. And it's easy. You can share it to your client. You can share it to different colleagues. So it makes life so much easier. So very easy to quickly learn and get more depth about certain products. Not just that, in this section as well, you can also go and look at different models that's available. So you can look at different series, different models, different packages, different cameras, whatever, and you can compare. So you can take certain models of the PT, like little dome itself, IP dome, and you take another model and you can compare the two between one another and you can see which one might work better for you. So also, again, single app, nice little tool, eh? Very nice little tool. All right, then. Okay, all right, my PPT is buffering, so let's hope everything is fine. So just to go through this and briefly, right? So under this point system, if you want to put it like that, it's like a like credits basically. So every time you load a client through your ProConnect to HIK Connect, you get little points, right? So that points is actual like virtual money through Hikvision. But when you have enough, you can basically go and purchase certain gifts or you can purchase certain channels. So we've gone through the whole ProConnect box itself, that you can record certain devices in the cloud and at a certain fee. So now you can tell your client in future, I can have that option for you. So it will give you a chance to maybe do your own homework and study work and maybe do your certificate for that. So you have a bit more information. But in that time period, you load all your clients and you do all your job cards through it. The more you use the app, the more you go through the app, the more credits you can generate and build. With that, you have that credits that you can basically enroll to use to buy certain devices, certain products, certain lines, certain options, packages, etc., etc. And the gifts, I don't know. I tried to get flowers. They told me, no, we don't sell flowers. So for my wife, I would like to buy flowers for my wife. I love my wife. Anyway, right. So moving along, very nice little option. Again, on a single tool. It's like a pick and pay card. It's just very nice, really nice. Okay. Okay, under the art side, so I'm not going to go too far down that. We've all are familiar with the ARC. That's the Alarm Response Company or Center itself. So in South Africa, they use multiple different programs. So if the company is small, we have the capability of making it easy for them. If they are a bit bigger and they are using Listener or Watch Manager, we have that protocol also to pull it in there. I'm not going to go too far down that, so you can link it with them. All right, so very straightforward linking and that response itself, so it makes it a bit easier for your business. You can have that relationship with them or their co-branding as well, so it makes life a bit easier for your business, customizing things. Not just that, also, all right, not just that, you can also take like the AX Pros example, you can take it directly to our company, so on response company, so you can directly communicate to them, or you can take it to the ProConnect. So if it is an installing company and they do arm response and monitoring, you have that capability of using the ProConnect at your advantage for your company, still monitoring the cameras or the alarm system, but still basically have your co-branding, your own logo of your company straight to the client's phone, straight to the device. You can communicate both ways. Right, I'm not going to go too far all down that. Very basic, we've discussed this. The procedures itself is very straightforward and there's multiple benefits regarding that. Right, okay, next up. Okay, so I'll see the time is going. All right, so we know that we can link it with an ARC system. We know we can take it to a third-party time and attendance for HR. This is brilliant. And then also we can take the video itself to a third party. So we're going to discuss that quickly. So under that video side itself, there's so many companies out there that do have very brilliant programs. Unfortunately, we can't always concentrate on everything. So there are certain people that do concentrate on certain applications, certain programs, and you can pull that video basic security feed into their product itself. And there's a lot of our friends, I've met them now in Johannesburg, I've met them in Durban and in Cape Town. So there's multiple different companies and they know who they are. We had a discussion. I've helped them to mount certain things as well. So I helped a little bit. But those guys are really good with their programs and we do work very hand in hand, very well with them. Right. Next up is obviously for time and attendance. Again, third-party programs. There's so many different companies in South Africa that do this itself. We have so many of them that do visit us as well, and we work very, very well with them, hand in hand, try and build a decent relationship, make sure that whatever their problems are, we can try and find a solution around it from a Hikvision point of view. Right. And the same goes for, here's a good study case. All right, so again, Page Automation, we have a very good relationship with them, lovely people. I think they do brilliant work itself, but they use a lot of our products in order to be able to do time and attendance for different companies, for different branches, for different services. So again, it's already done, it's there, it's working, it's brilliant. Right. Okay, next part, privacy. So privacy, security, yes, there was a little thing in South Africa a week ago or so where they said that, oh, if you got the specific PTZ, it's vulnerable, they can get into it. You know what? In any case, in any network, it is the case where that is possible. Right. So from a technical point of view, this is basic information. If your network has a capability of getting into by cybersecurity hackers or whatever the case is, then no matter what product you have, whether it's Hikvision or whether it's anything else, you are vulnerable. If you do your EFT banking on your laptop, on your network, your banking is going to be at risk as well. Not saying that all banks, I'm just saying that no matter what your security environment is, you might be at risk, right? So this is a common problem. So it's not just the product itself. The product is mostly done for the internal network, not outside of the network. Not just that, also, if you don't have a secure password for your devices, or you keep on repeating with the same password over and over with all the devices, you're bound to find yourself with a problem. That's it. So it's very straightforward. Also, thirdly, make sure that you update the firmware on a regular basis. Firmware helps us to be able to find out if there's any problems or any issues. Our brand is a very big brand. Hikvision is international, it's worldwide, everybody's using it. But so are certain other brands as well. So if you go to the mobile side, there's certain big companies that have been vulnerable to their products. If you go to any other surveillance company, there's a lot of them that have also been alerted to be vulnerable. There are certain ways, but the nice thing about our company is if we find something or someone else finds something, we immediately work upon it. We immediately issue out a letter publicly saying that this is what has happened. This person so-and-so has picked it up. Here is the fix. Please update your firmware. We apologize for the inconvenience. This is a loop and we have resolved the problem. So we take responsibility, we fix and we take ownership for our responsibility. We fix it and we send it out and we are public about it. So, right, okay, good product still, but it's up to you if you don't want to put a nice password. Right, the rest of the cybersecurity. Oh, okay, let her talk quickly. Give her a chance. I've been talking a lot lately. Okay, so multiple security standards out there. So we're going to skip that. There we go. All right. And then the software itself. So you can download the portal or you can download it on your mobile app. Right. And then again, there's different options. All right. So keep that in mind. We're not going to go too far down that. So in future, our one HIK ID will be identified as who you are as a company or as a person or as an account holder. So this will give you the capability of basically using one login information, having it more secure to multiple different products. So you don't have to keep on wondering which one is which one and how to log in, because let's face it, passwords nowadays, yeah, if it wasn't for Google saving all my passwords, I don't know any. I really don't know. Right, so very nice little feature as well. And then this is the procedure to go through to be able to log in. Okay. Come. Okay, there she disappeared. All right. Okay, so very basic, very straightforward on that. Let me just stop sharing. All my PPTs just crashed. That's good news. Now you're all looking at me. Great stuff. All right, so we will be carrying on with this HIK Pro Connect itself. We are very proud of it, and we want to make it a bit easier for more understanding. Please note that there are more videos with more information. Today was just mostly going through a few of the things from yesterday and also just showcasing a few of the new different changes that we are bringing forward. All right. After this will be the Q&A. If you are interested, please stay behind, and then we can ask certain questions and answer them. Right. For those that watch the YouTube, see you guys next week.